Figure it out.
I got it.
All right. Hey, almost an issue there. I wanted to post. So, welcome to another edition of Modern Day Thrive. I am your host, Dean Baker. Alongside of me is George. As always, how you doing, George?
I am doing good. Feels like Friday.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Well, I
not
mean,
Friday.
it's pretty much Friday. It's Thursday night. It's nothing else is really going to happen in the business world between tonight and tomorrow morning. So for me, Thursday morning is more like Friday for me anyway. So,
Nice.
so let's, what do we got? Start taking off stuff here. Let's kind of do a like, follow, and share.
Yeah.
So, yes, please like, follow, and share this webcast if you happen to be here. And we are interested in your participation as well. That I was writing down some stuff, and really it's the participation that really makes the difference.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
With the show.
Gives it life.
It does. Oh, I know now. All right, I'm trying to. What's going on here? Is that your phone going off? Oh, well. All right, and yeah. So participation makes for a better show for us and for you. So more information gets shared, more thoughts, more ideas, more hints. If you don't already know, Modern Day Thrive is about. Man, there's so many, but our core values, our principles are multiple streams of income. I'm
Yes.
I'm a late bloomer there, but I
am too.
I'm even later than you. So, but multiple streams of income. The work smart, not hard. The side hustle, work for yourself. That I've been for 30 years. Work for yourself. It's just stop bleeding in your finances.
Yes.
The credit card debt must go. Credit card debt must go. Stop spending money on credit cards unless you're bleeding out the ears. Stop spending money on your credit card. Try and looks like we got our first comment. Hey, new setup looks good. So it's been a while. See, we've had this setup now for thanks. That's my brother chatting in. We have actually had this set up for a little while, and we're going through another change. So we'll have a different setup probably by the next show. So anyways, the setup looks good. Thank you, Donnie. Back to what we're talking about. We're talking about, increasing, making your money work for you, acting like a bank.
Yes.
Banks are pretty much making money off of any pennies that we stick in that bank.
10 times over.
Maybe 100 times over. Banks actually, they write the rules.
Yes.
They've been doing it for over 100 years, and then some. And
they created the rules, so yeah.
they created it, and that's how they do. They make money off of us. We work for them.
Pretty much.
Unless you figure out how not to. Now, credit card companies, they're like, I don't know, loan sharks?
Yeah, leftovers.
Loan sharks.
Yeah.
They basically the banks are trying to do it all real innocent, like, oh, your money's safe and protected, and it is.
Sure.
Federally insured, which means the government can step in and cover any of the losses the bank does stupidly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, in a way, they're like the child that gets all the ice cream and doesn't have to work for it.
Yeah.
In a way, that's kind of a silly way of saying it, but banks are like, yeah, put your money with us. We're going to get all the benefits of that money, but we're not going to be responsible for it. That's the government's job. We worked it out, which probably means that most of the people in government, most of our decision members are kind of, they're probably they own the banks, so they're probably protecting themselves. Ooh, I sound like I'm, quite the, oops. Are the lights going to flicker?
Yeah.
All of a sudden the power's going to go out, the internet's going to go. You're going to see the color bars up and the noise saying, this show has been deemed unfit for public viewing. Now, I'm just saying that, start acting like a bank.
Yes.
And make your money make money.
That's where life insurance comes
in. And stop the bleeding. You got money going out the door. I was writing this, and this is nothing I invented. This is just something I'm regurgitating from some people that I respect and listen to.
Sure.
Or read on the web, and it's what, the majority of the people in America are, man, I was so eloquent earlier when I was writing it down, but we own, probably not own, but we're 90% of us are responsible for the majority of the debt.
Yes.
And the smallest percent of us owns all the wealth.
Yes, I think it's like in the single digits.
Like less than 10% of Americans, and that's probably a global thing as well. Yeah. But that they're the ones, running the banks. They're the ones running the credit card companies. They're the ones making decisions for us, and they like us spending money that we don't.
Because they're benefiting off of it.
And other things like that, So I'm getting to a point, and I'm really having a hard time getting there. But the idea, the concept is not to stop that process.
Get out of the cog wheel.
The lights are still on. Okay, stop the process. Stop giving credit card companies your money, which means stop shopping on your credit card. Stop, credit cards are made for one purpose only, emergencies. For you to get access to some quick cash. Yeah. You're stranded on vacation in the middle of the desert, and the only way you can get out of it is to use a credit card. Go for it.
Yeah, your fridge breaks.
Heat or cool you don't need a credit card to go to the emergency room. They cannot refuse you if you're bleeding out, literally bleeding out the ears.
You may have to wait.
You go, they're going to want your credit card or whatever payment, but you just say, yeah, I'll pay you later, but you should not, there is no such thing as a shoe emergency or a shopping emergency unless it's food for your children. Yeah. In which case, you don't
have to buy $1,000.
But stop the bleeding. Stop putting debt, on your name that you shouldn't have to pay for.
On top of the debt you already have.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay to go get a house. Get a mortgage, buy a house if you can afford it. And we talked about this on the last show a little bit about those boxable homes and affordable homes.
I'm seeing all kinds of ads for them now.
Oh yeah,
they're cool looking,
and I'm seeing them too.
I still like them. I think they're neat.
an affordable way. Problem is, there's an industry that's long-lived industry
Yeah.
that has lobbying power that can say, no, we don't like boxables because
Yeah.
we didn't think of it. Or maybe they did. It's like electric vehicles. We've had electric vehicles since what, the 50s, 40s, 50s.
Well,
We've had electric vehicles for a long time.
I mean, we've had things like golf carts. I haven't really seen any cars, but I mean, it's
There
I've seen 'em.
are, yes,
Yeah.
right. And you know why?
Yeah.
Because back then there were 3 auto manufacturers that didn't want us to have those.
Yeah, yeah.
So they would buy up the patents. They would buy up they would do everything they could to cease, to cease any kind of manufacturing or sales of anything that would threaten their livelihood.
They're empires.
Okay.
Which
But the
they
world
were.
got a lot bigger in the last 50, 60, 70 years. So
You're
the
right.
world got a lot bigger, demand's got a lot bigger, and now wars are keeping oil companies from actually producing the fuel that we need to survive and live off of. And now we're all, is that you or me?
Yes, me.
Oh, you're going crazy. Keep looking at my phone. Looks like I got a message. Anything? No, it's those. Oh boy. Anyway, so here we are, and I'm saying this because I did this, and you did this, getting away from credit card debt, getting away from those crazy interest loans
Oh yeah.
that keep us indebted in servitude to those we owe a debt to.
The masters.
And it really starts by what you do with the money that you do have.
Yes.
You got me involved with Novatech.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a couple of months now. I think it was beginning of the summer I got involved with Novatech, and it's been paying me 12% a month.
That's not
12% a month.
bad. That's not a bad number.
And I've watched it grow. I couldn't remember the last time I had money in a bank and saw,
It grow.
ooh, yeah, I had to have been probably my very first bank account when my mom put $20 in a bank
Yeah.
account and said, here you go, watch it grow. And back in the 70s, it probably did.
Yeah.
$1 here, $1 there.
Sure.
Now, between then and now, there's really nothing unless you establish a 401k that you can watch, over the last 30, 40 years. You got that 401k thing and you can go, okay, it's grown. And then, of course, other things happen. The 2008 bubble probably gutted a lot of people's 401k.
I hope you weren't retiring during that time frame.
So
That's what the danger is.
you'd hear
you
horror
know.
stories like, yeah, I had $300,000 in my 401k, and then what now?
Yeah.
A day later, it's not worth that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's managed by, people that are playing the stock market.
Yeah. Sure.
They're managing, and they don't lose money; they lose your money.
Yeah.
They make bad trades, or
They
during a
probably get
bubble
commission on the lost trade.
when someone was buying into mortgage companies and things like that were showing outstanding profits in 2008. They were showing, and of course that was all fabrication, which caused the bubble, which caused everything that was buying into that bubble, caused them to. There are movies about this, or at least one really good movie about that,
Oh,
which is
there's
great.
probably a lot of good
So
documentaries and
So Novatech you showed me that you've been showing me that for a few months now. And of course, beginning of the summer, I got into that, put some money, not crazy money, safe money. I can go, it was $1,000, put it down and watch it. And I watched it grow. And when you're talking about 12%, that's $120 a month
that's not bad.
on a $1,000 investment.
Not bad at all.
That's in a year, your money doubles.
Yeah.
Unless you roll that money back in. If you roll that money back in less than a year, it's going to maybe triple.
Yeah. It should double
Based
around
on
6 months.
double every 6 months. So that is pretty impressive considering. Granted, these are basically online traders that are kind of faceless. It's a bit of a leap of faith. But
Correct.
I got to tell you,
I was a little leery.
you want to call your local trading house and give them money, and of course they can just lose your money in a day.
Sure.
I've been in now Novatech for a few months, and
I haven't had any losses.
I've been getting weekly payments, and I go in. It's online. I see how much I get. It's it's only been down once in the last 2 months. 1 week.
I was in it before you, and it had like 2, maybe 3 1-week periods where the least I saw was 1.8.
Yeah.
Versus 3% plus.
And I think that was a really bad week across the board.
The market was completely
The
red.
market was, yeah.
So that shows you that they're responsible
But
traders.
that same week, now you got into another one, which was Austin Trading and BS Apps.
Austin Trading Group and BS Apps.
And you haven't missed a...
They haven't missed a beat.
Yeah, so
they pay
daily.
2% daily.
2% daily.
10% weekly.
And they haven't missed a beat. Now I've been into Austin for
about a month.
2 weeks.
Was it 2 weeks? I thought it was
been like
more than that.
2, maybe 3 weeks, less than a month, and right daily.
Every day.
Every day I get it, and it hits my Bitcoin account.
Correct.
So I have money. So it's not like they're not holding my money.
Nope.
Novatech, they're holding your money until you tell them what to do with it.
Yeah.
So you can feel good or bad about that either way.
Sure.
But at least with these other trading houses, their Facebook groups that
You
are
can
trading.
decide daily what to do with it.
Yeah, the money automatically comes directly to your personal Bitcoin account.
Yeah.
So nobody can take it from you, I guess, unless you get hacked or something like that,
I mean, there's always roadblocks that
Yeah.
can be potential, but
you're...
the nice about the lucrative part of it is you can always decide to take that profit out early.
Yeah.
And do something with it and recover your initial investment fairly easily.
So yeah, I got involved with Austin maybe 3 weeks ago, and then just this week I got into BS Apps.
Yes.
And again, I put money in on Monday. By Tuesday, I was collecting my 2% a day, and it's been Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So Friday hasn't happened yet, but yeah. I've had a few days already with that, and based on those numbers, collecting 10% a week, that's
not bad.
That's pretty nice. And I get to decide what to do with the money that comes in.
Do I want to reinvest? Do I want to move it somewhere else? Do I want to cash it out? All options.
I would go back and put a disclaimer here that we're not investment counselors, we're not bankers, we're not business majors. We are like everybody else.
Educational.
We have various degrees of education and different things, and I'm not here to advise other than I could say this is what I did.
Some of it's trial and error. In the beginning it was.
This is what I did. I made my investments based on someone I trust, which is George. So, and it's worked for me until it doesn't, in which case I know where you live, so, yeah, but no, that's a smart thing to do. It's kind of like, this is an investment, this is a real life, this is what I do with my money. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. I make decisions, even in my own business. I make decisions about that, and some of it's bad.
Sure.
I zigged when I should have zagged, and I go, damn, I lost $400.
It can happen.
I can think of 2-3 times this year when I've lost anywhere from a couple $100 to $400 on something, and I go, damn.
It
sucks.
That one back.
and even more recently, about a month ago, I did this thing. We shot a television show, a pilot, and one of the actors was coming down from Atlanta, and I had to put him up in a hotel room.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I put him up in a hotel room. It was only for 3 nights, 4 nights, something like 4 nights. And I put him up in a decent Days Inn here in town in Altamont.
Sure.
And, you know, I went through Cheap Tickets, which is a site I've used quite often.
Sure.
No problems whatsoever. So I used that. And so he shows up. And it was late by the time he came in. So he checked in probably 11 o'clock at night. And he went into his room. I prepaid for everything because that's what you do on Cheap Tickets.
Sure.
So he goes to his room, goes in, and he sees bugs coming out of the bathroom, he sees bugs. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't like a Stephen King movie, but you know, all it takes is one bug, and you go, yeah, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Because where there's one, there's probably 100 you don't see.
Sure.
And in Florida, you know, we see cockroaches all the time. They come into our homes. They nest. We're constantly spraying. I'm touching my nose because that's a reaction I have when I start talking about bugs. Yeah, I start touching my nose. For some reason, that's some tick I have when I start talking about bugs. So anyways, he goes back downstairs. So he was in the room for 10 minutes, went back downstairs and said, look, you got to give me another room.
Yeah.
And they said they were booked.
Ooh.
And then he says, well, I can't be here.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And then, of course, he tells me he found a friend, I guess, to stay with that night. But the next day he says, I couldn't stay there. So I guess he had checked out and blah, blah, blah. The next thing, so I got him another room.
Yeah.
Paid somebody else. And now because it's more last minute, it's 3 nights for $400 instead of 4 nights for $400. So I got him another room at another hotel. And so about 4 or 5 days later, after we're done with the project, he's back home and all that. And he even has pictures and videos of the thing,
bugs,
you know. I guess they treated him like he was doing something wrong.
Oh, wow.
He is a black person, and he could tell that they were treating him.
Oh, wow.
In fact, he even recorded them dealing with him.
Ouch.
Okay. So what's going on? They were very kind of not real.
Yeah, you're trying to get over on us.
You know, like, what do you do? You know, so he tells me all that stuff, and of course I call the hotel and I said, look, I'd like a refund. If anything, you know, for 3 of the 4 nights.
Yeah.
I'd like some of that money back.
Sure.
You didn't, you know.
Sorry,
and of
sir.
course, the guy I'm talking to on the phone, he's obviously the manager at the desk, and he was being incredibly evasive. Of course, he spoke broken English.
Okay.
Kind of Middle Eastern,
Gotcha.
you know.
Yeah.
Very broken English. So I'm trying to get some information from him, and he's like, look, is there a manager I can speak to? Nope. Is there an email? He's like, well, you can send. And it wasn't even like a business email. It was like, you know, something at Gmail or Yahoo.com. And I'm going, really? So, you
Is it a
know,
chain?
huh?
A big chain?
Days in?
Wow.
Yes. And it was the.
I'll be looking for a corporate number.
All right. So now a couple weeks after that, I got no response from these people. They had my number. They had my email, everything, 0 response. 2-3 weeks later, I start going around again. I called him back and I says, well, maybe I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. And
You
it
had a
was
bad
again, the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Wanted to speak broken English and tell me, like, you know, I don't care that you know, we're having a communication issue.
Sure.
But why aren't you even the least little bit of trying to accommodate?
Yes, what you should be doing.
You know,
You're
if I
now
was on
service.
Disney property and I had a problem,
Oh, yeah.
that would never be a problem at Disney on a
No.
Disney property.
They would have sent 10 people.
They
over.
would have asked how they could help me. They would have said, you know what, that $400 will not break our business.
They will definitely bust you
They
somewhere else.
they will figure it out.
Yeah.
But, you know, so I call corporate.
Ah.
All right. So I'm like, you know, found a corporate
did you get his
800
brother?
number and not far from that. So I'm calling corporate again. Another person.
He picks up the other line.
She seemed Hispanic,
Okay.
still broken English. And I'm going, and she's saying, yeah, there's nothing I can do.
because they're individuals.
I have to deal with them. In fact, she even told me that I can't go after my money back. The person that I booked in the room has to go after the money back.
Even though you
I'm
paid
like,
for it.
I'm the one who paid for it. It's on my account.
Yeah.
And yet you're telling me that I have nothing. I've got no way to stay into this. I'm like, I'm sorry, you're corporate. So, you know, a Days Inn, they've probably got thousands of hotels all over the country.
Are they
What's it
independent?
really going to take? Is it going to take me to put a scathing,
Lawsuit.
no, just a scathing Google,
Yeah.
you know, negative thing on them? Because you hear stories like that. People
Sure.
go, you know, someone put something negative up there, and of course, the good companies don't like
yeah,
negative.
They want to be all over.
And they
that.
want to be at least to say, hey, look, we understand you had a bad thing. How can I help?
Yeah.
Not once did I get that from corporate or from the local thing. And
They
it's a
register with
big
the BBB.
company. You know, BBB, that's another story. So let's just not even talk to about the BBB. So here I'm in. I've had 2-3 conversations
All went nowhere.
with people, all went nowhere, left it all on to me to send an email to some place I never heard of that, of course, never got back to me.
Oh, of course.
You know, and of course I asked corporate, and I asked them, do you have an email there? It's
Yeah.
like, no, we don't. Corporate has
Something tells me they
corporate
got
has no
sold.
email account. You would think, you know, I understand
didn't
you
used to
don't
be that
you
way
don't
back
want
in
to.
the day.
Yeah, but back in the day it was you call this person,
Yeah.
you get her secretary, and
Yeah.
she sets up an appointment and blah
Yeah.
blah blah. Now it's like, oh, just send them an email.
Wow.
You can still choose not to respond to it,
Sure.
but send an email.
Yeah.
So where are we now? You know, do I have to go on? I have to go online, and I have to put some sort of scathing review.
Yeah.
You know, here's the thing. Now, Cheap Tickets, you know, that's the middleman in this thing. So
Oh,
I'm gonna
yeah.
have to go to Cheap Tickets, and I got my own problems with Cheap Tickets now because when I set up the account, all of a sudden they created my account,
Yeah.
but now changed my name to the person I was booking. Yeah,
What?
it is messed
It
up.
can't be the first time something like this has happened. Where
This
someone paid
is
for
so
someone's
messed
room.
up for these third party. You know, I mean, I have to make another call, and I have to go through. I've got 2 more recourses here
Yeah.
to get my $400 back. I can go after Cheap Tickets, and of course they're going to say, I'm expecting that same runaround.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
It's not us. It's them.
but at least Cheap Tickets, they're at least because they're the ones doing the, you know, they would not like. I would
won't
think
blow
they
you
would
off,
like
but, yeah.
less negative
yeah.
responses. On top of that, I can go to my bank and say,
Oh yeah.
I want my money back, and then I have no idea. But I figure before
disputed, I
before they
think.
take my bank takes the money back from Cheap Tickets.
Yeah.
I figured I'm going to have to call Cheap Tickets
Sure.
first,
Yeah.
and
How do you wanna
then go
handle
to the
this?
bank, and then you know, what you know.
Yeah. Why?
The fact of the matter is, the person I spoke to twice, they looked at the booking, they realized I didn't stay, or my
Yeah.
guy didn't stay there more than the 10 minutes he was in the room.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
is that company really taking a massive hit by?
Nope.
They were booked out. They said they were sold out that night. They couldn't have given him a room if
They probably rebooked it to somebody else.
they probably rebooked it. So I'm a little frustrated about the way business is being operated here.
Yeah.
And I'm hesitant to now. I'm gun shy now, because if I can't get my money back from a Days Inn,
Yeah. Yeah.
what's
Legitimately.
next? Legitimate. Well, I'm
Yeah.
not. You know, there's enough illegitimate business out there to
Sure.
begin with. So I'm trying to do this from a Days Inn. You know, I'm like, look, you know, you guys have been around. You're
For a long
probably a billion-dollar company as well. You know,
Or they were at one time.
you know, but now I'm leery about everything else.
Yeah.
Meaning, you know, what do? Do I have to double think what going through the drive-through at McDonald's, thinking, are they going to give me a problem if they screw up my order, and
Yeah,
they're going to
yeah.
look at me like, what are you trying to pull?
Back in the day.
No, they don't.
They
They
just,
don't.
Here you go.
Yeah. They
keep,
don't.
keep the other one.
You get pissed, and half the time you get pissed. You didn't get your order. Screw it. I'm already down the road, and
Yeah.
you don't even screw with it. But
Yeah.
some people will actually turn around, go back, and read them the riot act. And
Sure.
mistakes are made.
Sure.
That's happened to me. I walked in, I rented a motel room or a hotel room, got bugs and checked out, and I'm like, better not charge me.
Yeah.
So my last recourse is to dispute the charge with my bank.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe there's, but that's the second time this year I've had to dispute a charge with my bank.
Oh, really?
And the first time they gave me back the money, and then like a month later they took it away again.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm just,
because they took the story of the side of the other.
I guess so. They never came back to me, and it was like, wait a minute, you work for me. You work for me.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I'm
Yeah.
this whole.
It's a lot of wasted time.
It is.
But it's $400. That's a decent amount. Of money.
$400. That's a nice little. That money could be making good 10%,
There you
earning me
go.
10% a week. That I
That's
would
what I'm
much rather
thinking.
have it.
Yeah,
so,
right.
so here it is.
I like how you're thinking.
Here it is. So this is my half an hour of my bitch and moan session for the week. Anyway, what's going on with you? I'll stop talking for a minute.
So, we were talking about a few things before the show that I thought were kind of interesting with all the innovations that, we're trying to,
Mm-hmm.
put forth with all the solar and solar cars. And you want to pull the site up? Because I think you have it on
Which
your
one?
side. The solar carport.
All right.
I think it looks really like a really cool idea if someone, or even as a business, if we get to the point where, how many solar charging
that's not
stations?
it. Hang on. Solar City
How many
solar.
solar charging stations are really going to be available?
Oh, okay. This is
across?
solar tube. No, easy.
Yeah,
Hang
we'll
on.
take that down. It's in here somewhere. Close it?
I might have. Hold on. I can do this fast.
It's okay.
Let's get.
talk about the other
No. It was in the private chat, right?
Yeah,
The
'cause
first
we've
one.
been talking about
let's
buying
move it over
a piece of
here.
property somewhere and doing something.
All
with
right.
it,
Yeah, you sent me just a search link.
Yeah,
and of course.
it's just a bunch of different ideas. I just thought it was a really neat concept, even for your own house. One, it gives you cover. I don't ever park in my garage.
Yeah.
I couldn't if I wanted to. But
Well, this is going
a lot
to
of
be a
people may
face.
be the same.
The face of more
I think it will be.
footprints.
Sure.
Consider these the modern day vending machines.
Well, yeah, because
because
if
you're
you
gonna
go
park
downtown,
there-
how many do they have? You have a friend that has a solar car.
Right.
How many charging stations do they really have down there?
Right.
Are there 5?
But I'm looking
Two,
at this
one.
going, okay, this is probably the equivalent of, based on that panel, which is maybe what, 10 by 12, the size of a parking space right
Yeah,
there.
sure.
This picture we're looking
Sure,
at,
sure.
maybe the size of a parking space. So even at 15 foot by 10 foot, you might fit,
But I imagine
maybe
it has
10,
batteries.
9 solar
Yeah.
panels. And then, of course, yeah.
I imagine it has batteries. It was
But
by
still,
solar
that's
alone, it'd be hard to
900
charge it.
watts, and you
Yeah.
can't fast charge. You can't
Yeah.
where it would be an all-day charge, but it's a parking space. So,
Sure.
But you can't really fast charge your car.
Well, I don't know what kind of technologies are on the back end on some of these. They may have the battery system may build up over time, and if you don't use it, and then the solar just
Well,
keeps trickling it in.
uh,
I don't know.
Well, a lot of people, when buying these cars, have to set up a charging port in their house that
Sure. Yes.
runs off the 220.
Yes. So
And
because you
that's-
want fast charging,
You want to be able to fast
Yeah.
charge, so you.
I mean, it's still probably 4
home
hours
and
to
with
charge
a-
a car, but
It could be an hour or two because
Yeah.
you may not burn it out 100%. So,
True.
so you may need a couple hour charge. But based on this kind of thing, it'd be great. But if your car's sitting at home,
yeah, you wouldn't have that
likely
issue.
you're not going to get. So I'm not so sure a solar carport at your home is ideal, because now if it's at your work and there's 100
Yeah.
of these things.
Sure. Well, I mean, it could
you know.
be, companies themselves decide, hey, let's
Right.
put one or two of these here.
Well, parking lots are great because there's
Yeah.
minimal trees.
Yeah.
So it's going to have basically
Plenty of sun.
getting sunlight all day during the 9 to 5 work hours.
And most buildings have a couple
And,
trees around the building,
You know,
but not.
eventually, they got wireless charging for your cell phone.
can
Maybe
drive
they'll have
over it.
wireless charging for your car.
That's funny.
Wouldn't that be great? How
Well, then they
how
can
do you
just
get
build
some
it
of that
into the roads.
energy? But you got
That's a good
carports
idea,
right
actually.
there, wireless
hold that.
charging.
Hold that thought.
Or remember bumper
build a lane.
Remember going to the
bumper
theme
cars.
parks, the bumper cars, where they got that
Yeah.
that pole going over the top, touching
not?
in little arcs of
Yeah.
sparks. It's electrified cars.
Could be the same thing.
You know.
Just build lines down there, and that's funny.
So
Don't turn.
Yeah, just don't turn. So you park in, and all of a sudden a pole goes up and it touches.
Yeah.
And now it's
I'm
sending
stuck in this
juice,
lane for 100 miles.
There's going to
funny.
be, it's not just about the batteries. There's a lot of technology into these things to make it more used.
I think there's a lot more coming.
If it's affordable, like this is a very small electric car.
Yeah.
It looks like a smart car, but I know smart cars, I'm not sure they came out with any electric versions.
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that
but
I'm aware of
certainly
either.
Looks like,
It looks like one of those smart cars.
Yeah.
Which is like a two-seater, almost golf cart-esque type of thing, but it was always fuel. It was a fuel car,
Yeah.
and even then, it wasn't getting crazy gas mileage. It was getting like maybe 35 miles per gallon.
Well, at
So,
some point in time, there's going to have to be more than one solution for charging stations other than your house.
Well, look at this.
Because you can't pull into a gas station and fill your gas up at that point. You need energy. And these cars only go so far. Obviously, you have to plan it in your day, but no, that's
Look at
pretty
that.
cool. See, that's pretty slick. That's
There
a
you
lot,
go.
That's a lot bigger.
And
I mean, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So probably 10 across.
Yeah,
So
10
20
across.
panels.
No, 10, 5 times 4. Yeah, 20 panels.
Yeah, 20 panels.
If a panel's 100 watts, it's 2,000 watts, but that's a lot of cars parked in front of that.
It is.
So you're just basically trickle charging everybody.
But that could be like once we get to the point and they start using these in like rental car
Right.
lots and stuff like that. You don't have them rented all the time, so when they're not rented, you would need somewhere to charge them.
Right. So
I think that's slick. I think that's a good idea, and it's not requiring the 220.
yeah,
Obviously, there's a trade-off.
yeah.
The-
I would think of if a a business would look at it like, look, let's fill up the parking lot with solar panels and put
EV
some
charge
vending
stations, yeah.
some vending charge stations,
Sure.
and then the rest of the power can go into powering
The building.
the building itself.
Sure.
And all of a sudden, then we're looking at something. I think the landscape of solar panels are going to be increasing. I
I
don't
think
know
so.
by how much. I remember seeing a video on solar panels as replacement road instead of
Yeah.
like blacktop.
Sure.
Pavement. A solar panel. Let's get out.
Well, I think the
it's trying to get me now. I'm going to have stuff
solar
like this
panels are
popping up
probably
like
no
crazy.
different than the 386 PC that came out when I first started. What
Thought
did
it was
they
a
do?
286.
Well, it probably was actually. That was probably X86 actually.
Yeah.
But whole nother. Let's not go there. But so
History.
eventually they're going to learn how to get past the threshold of what they're getting in today's panel,
Yeah.
and it'll probably be more feasible to have something that size to generate a lot of power. Right now, it's not there.
Yeah.
But eventually I think they will. I
Yeah.
mean, you see, there's
And
we were
if you
talking
can
about
make
the
it
roofs.
wireless, you make the road
Yeah.
you're driving on
Sure.
hold a charge that somehow wirelessly gets into your car, and all of a sudden
And I know my phone has got to be touching the pad on the charger.
we have rubber wheels. You could have
Yeah,
you could
so-
have inside the rubber wheels. You could have little leads.
I mean, they do
that-
have moving parts.
Yeah.
There's got to be some way to turn that moving part
Yeah.
into something that even how they have those power readers
Right.
like that you could just clamp over a wire and go, that's how much voltage you have with it. Why can't they do something similar to that to pick up that induction?
Yeah.
It's got to be there.
Well,
Maybe that's not there today, but and that's
So-
not solar, but still
but
renewable energy.
it's not that completely ridiculous to create a solar carport at your house.
Sure.
I would build one, and that would be ideally that would be what I would build for myself.
Sure.
And not tie it into the grid. I would use it as a way
Yeah,
to.
You could charge all your
I
devices.
could use it as
drills.
a energy plant that lowered my electric bill.
Sure.
Because I could take maybe my hot water heater would run off of it.
Maybe. Yeah.
You know, wouldn't that be great? The electronics in a hot water heater are a little more simple.
Sure.
It's connecting. It's taking electrifying these coils that heat up, and
Yeah.
so it's a little more simple. It's not like an electronic brain that's you know
Yeah.
that your car has to
Precision.
do a million.
Or it's going to drain down.
Right. So
It's like your cell phone. Your
I
cell
could
phone just sitting
see
here fine is no big
if
deal.
I were
but-
to do this tomorrow at Harbor Freight, I would build a carport, pressure treated, sink them into the ground, get them 10, 12 feet up,
Mhm.
and then build a roof structure and then cover it with solar panels. And, I might spend
So what, like
three to
100-watt
5 grand. They're 100-watt panels. I think their panels are getting a little bit more juicy, more juice per panel.
Sure.
But by doing that, I could probably spend less than 5 grand and build
Sure.
one of these myself.
Yeah.
On top of create a battery, my own battery
Mm-hmm.
wall that would I could store that power
Yeah.
and use it.
Sure.
Power my hot water heater right there. That's one of the largest,
That would be a big expense off you for sure.
and hey, it might save me 30% off of my electric bill.
Yeah. Yeah. And over time,
Over
your
time.
solar panels are paid for,
Yeah.
and then you have free energy.
Free energy. And then when the apocalypse happens,
Yeah, you can everyone can come to your house when they need
I
something.
don't think solar panels are prone to a EMP, so
Not that I know of.
not
but,
that I know of either.
But you never know.
Not going to power my car. I might,
I mean, you get hit with boulders.
Anyways.
it's just-
So yeah, solar carport sounds like
I think that was really cool.
good idea, good
I think
theory.
it could be, let's say, again, company doesn't want to do the expense of putting it in,
Right.
but they're willing to rent it from you monthly for luxury for their employees.
All right. So what else
I
you
think
got?
it's a good idea. What else were we talking? We were talking about the light,
The light.
the tube light.
All right.
I really
Solar tube. Solar tube. Okay.
When I saw this, I really liked it. I mean,
Where is
you're-
it?
You're
Okay.
basically.
I think there was a better. Oh, this is it right
that's it right
here.
there, yeah.
Let me see if I can get more.
See if we can max.
All right. There it is. No, that's me. That's not you.
No, I wanted to maximize my screen. 'cause
Okay,
my eyes don't
so
work
it's a
as well.
skylight that
It catches
collects
light all
collects the
360.
sun in any direction and amplifies it. See how it's bouncing back and forth?
Yeah.
And of course, something it's hitting that, which looks like a little mini solar panel,
It has some type of capability
and
on
sending
some of
the
these
sun straight down.
where you can have a night light at night off of this thing. But during the day,
That would have to
it's true
collect.
sunlight.
It would have
it
to
collects
collect
something. Yeah, it probably has a small battery.
power,
in it.
but then it would have to have a light
yeah,
because you can't hold. You
I don't know
know.
how it does that
Yeah.
that part. I forget how that works, but I know someone that actually has one of these, and he said it's really nice.
Yeah.
I mean it lights up the room.
So it's like putting in. Now I remember a movie. Back in the day, it was a sci-fi type
Of course. I was
movie,
waiting
and
for
of
that.
course, I can't. I'm trying to think of the name of it, but it was. They were taking the sun and taking these really shiny shields and bouncing the light and trying to get the sun from outside to all the way down a tunnel. In boom, boom, boom. I had to do
Talking
it.
about Bruce Willis movie.
No, I don't
they
think
did
so.
it. They did it in a Bruce Willis movie.
I want to say Time Bandits, or this is back in the
Oh,
80s
okay,
anyway.
gotcha.
So anyway, but this isn't far from that. And I've seen these before. This is not new.
No, it's just
Um,
really slick looking.
And it's just, basically this thing sits on the top of your house, cuts in, and most people already have these type of ports. Most of it's just, the
flashing or whatever.
well, they're vents for your plumbing.
Oh, gotcha.
They're plumbing
Gotcha.
vents.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you might already have that in your home as a way. But
Sure.
if you've got dark part of your house
Mhm.
that you would like sunlight in, this would absolutely do it. And
I
it
mean,
just,
your option of running
and it's
electricity,
bending that light
which is
and-
really expensive to get done. Electricians are not cheap.
right,
If they have to run a light to it,
right.
so you get that. So you now are adding, after you pay for something.
Best
you're
way
adding
to
daily
do this,
cost.
if you're putting a new roof on your house,
Do it
this
then,
is
yeah.
probably the
Yeah.
time you want to do it, because They're going to have to cut into the roof, and then this is the flashing here, and then you put your tile around that and seal the hell out of it, and
Yeah.
boom, you have a
If I do a nice shed in the backyard,
Yeah.
I'll probably put one in there.
yeah.
So I don't have to worry about
and likely that's a Fresnel lens, so it's going to amplify all the lights.
maybe, yeah.
If it's a Fresnel lens, which is a magnified version, so it's takes your light and
Look
it
on night right there. See, go down, go.
day and night.
Yeah, if you read above it, it says night light somewhere in there, right in that. thing.
Spectralite infinity tubing. Captured light moves through tubing made of the world's most reflective material, maintain brightness even around corners. So in theory, if
Integrated,
there's
yeah,
light
so-
it's pulling from the moon, maybe it would amplify
Well, it
that
said there's some
moonlight.
kind of technology. If you read right there, it says integrated solar electric technology generates and
It stores energy to power
to give you
your
a
smart
so
nightlight.
you get so,
you
that
get a
may be
nightlight,
that may
yeah.
be what this thing is here. The thing up in the middle there
Yeah.
you're looking at looks like it's putting some light. So that may be where the light.
you know, landscape lights, you know, the
Yeah.
kind that just sit there and
Sure.
store. You get a little solar panel, and there's a battery. There's a rechargeable NiCad battery sitting in there, and then lights stay on.
Yeah.
You know, when
I
the
think
sun goes down, it lights up your patio or something like that. Real basic. So it's not going to be much different than that. You got to have some type of battery in your it's charging
Yeah.
all day.
Well,
so
it's
at
getting
night,
light. Yeah.
yeah,
It's, it's
at
getting
night,
plenty
so you'll
of plenty
you'll
of
get
juice.
some of that. So that's
Yeah.
and that's a fun thing to do to actually even daytime. You
Sure.
know, like my living room, I kind of the front half of the house
Mm-hmm.
doesn't quite get that kind of light.
It would probably
you
light
know.
up that whole side there.
I'm wondering if you could almost do this, but in a way like putting a port on the side of your house coming in, because we have block houses. We're in Florida, so we have cement block houses.
Yeah, sure.
But what if you had a part of your house that
Like a
had no
box or
windows
something,
on?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you could actually have that mounted like a porthole on your
the
house,
side? Why not?
on the front of the house or somewhere where it's catching that light, and you could almost bend it and focus it and go, you know, that's kind of interesting. Maybe I could take that sunlight coming in on the side of the house that I'm not getting sun.
Why not?
That'd be fun. That'd be fun to
Well,
try that.
The biggest thing would
I
be
love-
is having that focus of a light directly at your eye level. You probably wouldn't be able to see anything if you're looking directly at it. But
Well, this looks fun. I like the idea of
I like the concept. I think it looks
taking
nice.
free energy, and this is probably less than $1,000. You
You know,
know,
I gotta ask my boss if I can remember.
But
I will ask
I've-
him.
I've-
what it
I've seen
ran.
stuff
I
like
think it was like
this.
800.
really.
I believe so, if I remember.
Yeah.
I think I
It-
did ask him.
It looks like it'd be less than $1,000 and fairly easy to install. But cutting into your roof is definitely something.
No,
you
you'd
wanna-
want to
wanna-
pay someone that's gonna warranty it. And say, hey, you sealing it?
Yeah.
It's all you.
That's fun. You could have one of those in every room of your house,
Technically, yeah.
and you know, and think of all that energy you're not using.
I mean, that's the biggest
Maybe.
thing, because
What else? We don't have a lot of time left on the show. What else you want to?
what else did we pull up there? I don't remember now.
What is this? Vehicle solar charging. Let me just kind of close some of these out. We're
Yeah,
not.
maybe that'll get us.
That's all we got through. That's done. Nothing there. Oh.
Oh yeah, you had a story on this one.
All right. So
They
This
drop
is
the
a-
heck out of these things. They really.
I
do,
know
but
this
I'm
is how
skeptical.
thousands of Americans are cooling their homes and slashing electric bills. Okay, so here's what this is.
Yeah,
Okay. First of all,
it's a fan.
it's a fan. You might as well get a glass of ice,
Yeah.
stick a fan on front of it,
Yeah,
and let that fan.
it's one of the ones you have to put a block of ice in it to even get cold.
Actually, no. Basically, you're filling it up with water,
Okay.
and there's a fan in
Which in
there,
Florida
and
is
it's
room temperature hot.
blowing. Yes, but when the air will chill a couple degrees.
Okay.
It's not like you're not going to get 70-degree
But
water.
It's not pulling in heat and changing it to
It's
cold, which is how an air conditioner works.
Well, in a way, it is. It's taken heat, running it across water,
Yeah.
and
Well,
it
how
will
to keep it
cool a
cold.
couple of degrees down, just a couple of degrees.
Okay.
So in a way, instead of just sitting in front of a fan,
Yeah.
you're sitting in a front of a fan that might give you a couple of degrees. Here's the problem with that.
You got to be right in front of it.
No, well, that you
Yeah.
got to be real close to it,
It's showing right
and
on the desk, though.
it's blowing water at you. It's literally blowing water.
So when you start getting dry heaves,
That-
you go, "Oh, I'm out of water."
No, I'm saying that all right. So just recently, we're at one of my clients rents a store, an unused store at a shopping mall,
Okay.
for a week or
Sure.
a month or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So we do a project, and we use this one, and of course the AC went out
Oh,
day one.
gotcha.
So until they can get the AC people to come out,
Yeah.
they had to do something. So they went out and bought a bunch of these.
Okay. just
They
to
bought
see.
floor units that stood up 3 feet high. They
Yeah,
bought a
yeah.
couple of these sitting
I've
on the
had those
desks.
before. They're not real good.
And they're looking at it, they're letting them run, and I walk over to one, it looks like they're unattended, and one was sitting in a puddle of water. So it
'Cause
was
this was
literally
spewing out.
spitting water through the machine,
Okay.
and it's just,
Alright.
again, it's a fan.
Yeah.
And think about air conditioners. Air conditioners, first of all, they take hot air
Yeah.
and they vent it through.
Correct. They
So they
compress it.
have to they're cooling air down,
Yeah.
but they also all the air is going through coils.
Compressive coils. Yeah.
Well, they're copper coils that are
Full
have
of
got
cold.
freon
Yeah.
running through it, and it makes those coils cold.
Sure.
And when the air hits it,
Yeah.
passes through. Now, what happens in an AC unit? Well, there's water.
It generates water. Yeah.
It generates water, so that water has to go someplace. So these things basically it's doing
the
a
same
very
thing.
similar thing without the freon,
Yeah.
and that water has to go someplace.
Yeah.
One
your
of my
desk.
clients had the thing sitting in front of their computer. I'm like, you may not want to point it at your computer, just because it's
Why is
spitting
my screen
water
looking
out,
colorful?
and all of a sudden your laptop crashes because
Yeah.
it's shooting
It's not
water. It's
waterproof.
like, it's not waterproof. Sorry, it's not going to happen. So, but they did say that they felt it cooler. They said it worked.
Okay.
It's just going to work in a place where it's
Yeah.
within 2 feet from you.
Yeah.
It's not going to cool a room down.
No, I'm not going to do that. It says here their homes, which is a little misleading, I think.
So the
And
other
slashing their utility bills.
so you get on YouTube and make your own air conditioner.
Yeah.
It would say take an igloo cooler, or take a cooler,
Yeah.
cut a hole in it, like in the top,
Yeah.
and put a
A fan on
put
one
a
side.
put a piece of PVC coming out,
Yeah.
and the fan kind of goes in, so you're pushing air in,
Yeah.
and then of course it'll come out a port.
Yeah.
Fill it up with ice.
Yeah.
So basically, you're
It'll
cooling.
keep it cool air for a little while.
It'll cool down, and hot air is hitting cold ice, making cold air.
Yeah.
Water's still going to come through.
Yeah.
So this is something that people have been doing for years.
Sure.
It's a camping. If you want to be, if
They're
you-
just making it look really slick.
Oh, that's the marketing version of
And the
that.
marketing technique in the wording.
I'm surprised
to
they didn't
me-
say put ice in it.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Because that would really be because if you're using this in Florida, you're pulling in some hot air.
Yeah.
Eventually, you're gonna the
There
water's gonna
is-
be hotter
yeah.
than.
Oh, looks like a Facebook post from Austin Trader. Anyway, so yeah, I thought that was kind of a funny thing is I just bumped into these, not the
Yeah.
exact brand, but very.
We're getting ads.
Yeah.
We're getting
ads
the,
are coming in like crazy.
We've been talking all day, and it's like going, "Hey, let me throw some ads that
another
way."
comment. Maria says the movie was Legend. Right, Legend. She remembers that. I thank you for that,
Oh.
Maria. Legend. It was a Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah,
And a bunch of little hobbits were trying to put light in an area, and
that's funny.
wow, that was a very obscure
yeah,
reference.
right.
It's some very minimal information I gave for that. If I said Tom Cruise, you can go, all right, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
It wasn't Top Gun. It wasn't what was that 80s movie? So yeah,
had
Legend, right?
Okay, now I know what you're
Tim
talking
Curry played
about. I
this
don't remember the part.
guy
but-
with the horns.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that was that. And so yeah, air conditioning, it's not going to cool your house down.
Leave it to the professionals.
This Arctos thing, it's not going to cool your house down. in a pinch, you put it right in front of you, and
Yeah.
yes, but you will get moist from it. It's spitting water at you, so yes. Because that water's got nowhere else to go. Funny, I saw this whole puddle of water on the other side of this thing, and it was like, oh.
They didn't even know.
They didn't even notice it because they walked. It was unattended for a couple hours, and
Oh wow.
I'm like, yep, that's it.
Whoops.
So we're gonna close that one down. That's my
funny.
little. So don't used it. Don't don't have high expectations
Yeah.
for that. And if anything, make your own. Go get a.
Yeah.
Everyone's got an extra cooler sitting around, cut a hole in it, and that kind of thing, and you can have
Really
at
hot
it.
jumping in an ice bath.
Yeah. So
It'll cool you down for a while.
XC40 Recharge Compact. See, that kind of poses another.
Yeah.
I love going on sites because every one of the car manufacturers, why not? Every one of the car manufacturers making electrified cars.
Yeah.
We like it. Unfortunately, 53 grand, 57 grand, 71,000. You know, I just,
They got to come up with the everyday vehicle person that's still electric.
20
Why can't they do
grand.
it? They just don't add all the accessories to it.
yeah,
You
and,
know-
and of
so
course
you don't get
supply
any
chain
brakes, you
issues.
don't
So
get-
they're gonna say, oh, we have a $30,000 version of this car.
Yeah.
Only that they're not shipping
Yeah.
because of supply chain issues.
Sure.
So they're only going to put out the
We got
high end.
one coming this month.
Yeah. So you're not going to get a whole lot of choices. I've looked at all the car a lot of, because I was looking at that truck,
Uh-huh.
the Ford.
Yeah.
I was looking at the Hyundai, and these are just good mileage vehicles. So
Sure,
they're
sure,
fuel burning.
sure.
But all their electric vehicles are just like, by the time any new vehicle you're looking at,
Wonder
you're not
how
going to
the
find a
hybrids are
base
still
model.
doing.
You are not going to find a
No,
base model
no.
until their supply chain issues kind of get fixed.
Well, yeah.
And that's not.
Not
oh,
when they have so much demand and they can easily say, well, this is way available and people will pay it if they need a car that bad.
Speaking of supply chain issues,
Uh-oh.
any beer drinkers out there, you better start buying and storing beer because
What
it's
happened?
not like
Plant go
hops.
down?
It's not like hops is coming into supply chain issues. We've got plenty of hops to make beer.
Yeah.
It's the carbonated water that they put
Really?
in. They're out basically, and there's a lot
I
of
don't even
like.
know how they create carbonated water, so I'm not sure
Well,
what the
it's
process is.
CO2. It's basically carbonation and stuff like
yeah.
that. And there's this massive supply chain issue
Wow.
for carbonated beverages.
What's
so,
next?
and which is going to affect soda. Can you imagine Coca-Cola? How
Oh,
many people
yeah.
are? Yeah, I don't know if it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But beer. There's a lot of. I watched a story on some local brewers that make their own.
yeah, yeah.
And they're saying, guy was saying, yeah, I've got enough beer to last till tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
And this was today. So I
Yeah.
got enough beer to last till tomorrow. If I don't get a delivery of this one key element
Ouch.
that lets them make beer,
And there's no way to fudge it.
yeah, you can't
Oh,
fake
so it's
it.
probably done through a canister.
Yeah, oh
like in
yeah,
the
it's
system.
like a CO2
Yeah.
thing kind of thing. So that's a huge. I mean, all of a
That's
sudden,
the first time I
wow.
had heard that. That's crazy.
I just caught that this morning. It was a supply chain issue. So, Volvo, hey, look, it's an interesting looking SUV. It looks like another soccer mom car. Go figure.
Not quite.
I did actually the Hyundai Santa Cruz.
Uh-huh.
Saw it up close.
Oh, did
I was
you?
behind it in traffic. I'm going,
Oh.
oh, I never seen one. There it is. I still like it.
Yeah.
It's a little smaller than I thought it would be, but it's,
That may
it's
be
as
better.
expected. So,
I wonder how hybrids are doing, or they're kind of getting phased out already.
the hybrids.
The hybrids, yeah.
Hyundai's always been a big thing with hybrids. You know, they I
They
don't
still have a gas model.
Yeah.
That rolls.
they
through
have a
its
hybrid
electric,
that's
yeah.
gonna, and they're
But apparently it lasts forever. So.
well, you're getting like 800 miles per
Yeah,
tank
yeah.
because it's fuel, but it's also hybrid, so you're
Yeah.
the crazy mileage. And why not?
Sure.
Why not hybrid? So
That seems like a good interim.
how can electrified buildings handle energy peaks? We're not going to get into that because, we've already seen and done that. Hey, look, the only last thing, Bitcoin, 22.5. That's the only coin that's actually seeming that has bounced back a little bit, but You know,
It's
in
kinda
theory,
decent.
that's
I mean, it hasn't crashed
that's-
below 20. It's
Yeah, but-
been around this number for
when
a while.
everything was at its peak, that was at 30 grand.
Yeah. Sure,
So it's
sure.
still down,
Oh, sure.
you know, a third of its value.
There will be another bull run. Don't worry.
Yeah, and everyone's talking about that. Ethereum is pathetic, 1,500. That was what, $4 at one
I
time.
think it did hit it. Or
So
may
that
have
was
gone
a
little higher.
third of what it was, and of course,
But the good thing about Ethereum is they do have a lot of project backing.
it's like
Ethereum.
USD coin. It's a stable coin. It's be at $1, which, you know, it's not sexy. I don't even know why it's there, but Cardano 50%. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Dogecoin 6 cents.
Yeah.
And of course, Shiba Inu hasn't really budged in a month. You know, much
You know,
either
I
direction.
don't mind sleepers. I say sleepers at one point will take off.
Cosmos. Ooh, my Cosmos, my Atom is up a little bit, which is kind of nice.
Nice.
And I know Algorand was in here. Avalanche,
last page.
Polkadot. No, it was actually
Is it
on this page because I was like, all right. But I know Algorand was at 30 cents, which I'm so
Yeah.
glad I'm done and out with it.
Yeah.
I took a hit, but moved it all to another coin that's making me at least an interest
At least you
rate.
get some
So,
interest back out of it. Yeah.
so that's it. That's all I got there. And that's all the only thing we didn't talk about was EasyBot.
We can leave that go. I mean, we can kind of.
So this will be top of the list, and you'll have a little bit more.
I should have a little more. Yeah, I literally just got into that today, but
crypto
I mean,
trading on
it's
your phone.
AI,
It's
so it
AI
is
crypto
completely
trading.
AI. It's all AI driven.
So you're gonna
AI
walk us through
decisions.
next week.
So I'll have some more information then. Like I said, it's brand new to me. I went through all the videos. I like the looks and the
Okay.
Hopefully the promises with it. So we'll see.
That's on the that's coming next week.
Yeah. We will have
and
more.
other stuff. I'm sure we'll bump into some other things. So be careful out there and spend your money wisely and get your money to earn money. Let's get off of that. And that's really all I got for this week.
Make it work for you.
Thanks, Donnie. Thanks, Maria, for checking in. You were a big help. Got that movie. Sounds interesting. Have a good night. Thanks.
You do the same.
Is that it?
That's it.
That's all we
Have a
got.
Good night, all.
Good night, everybody.